Hey everybody, Chad here. Welcome back to another episode of Everyday People. Today's conversation, it's a tough one. It's evolving, and it seems like we're doing a lot of these episodes lately, but I'm trying to bring stories to you that are interesting to me and unique that I think, in my opinion, and we can learn something together. And today's conversation is with Bridget Walsh. Daughter Noelle died in 2018. She was only 26 years old, and Noelle had a lot of personal challenges and struggles she was working on, and Bridget is very open and honest about that. But through the tragic death of Noelle, it has fueled Bridget to be on a mission to help advocacy and bring awareness to her death and others like her. And she's working on Noelle's Law. It's rooted in kind of peeling the onion back and ripping the layers back on issues that are dealing with us every day in the community, and we just don't talk about them enough. So this really resonated for me as being a former narcotics investigator, using confidential informants, developing and cultivating confidential informants. But we forget that confidential informants at their very essence are human beings that are probably going through a crisis or drug addiction, substance abuse, and we owe it to them to lead with the heart. And if we're going to use them in our investigations, to really think about the best outcome for them first and the investigation second. And that's happening every day. So nothing we're going to talk about today is anti-law enforcement, but we can get better. Anybody can get better at anything. And that's what we're about today, is how can we protect our most fragile citizens? And that's people that are dealing with substance abuse and drug addiction are very fragile, and they need our absolute care and empathy to help them through their situation. Hope you enjoy the episode. Hi, Bridget. Good morning. How are you? Thanks for joining me.
I'm great. How about you? Thank you for having me, actually.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I wanted to talk to you about your daughter, Noelle, and your late daughter, Noelle. She passed away in 2018, I believe. She was 26 years old, and such a sad story. You and me talked for a while on the phone, and I would love to hear, obviously this is a very personal and layered issue for you, but I wanted to know about Noelle, the 26-year-old, your daughter. I see how much work you're putting in, fighting for her, advocating for her. It's inspiring. I mean, you post every day and you just keep the fight, and it's inspiring. Where does that come from? Where does that fuel to just want to never let go and keep going?
To keep her here with us, and I believe that in her short life she had more purpose, possibly in her death, to bring awareness for mental health issues, domestic violence, drug addiction, interaction with law enforcement. My daily posts and I guess you could say interaction and push is kind of a love relationship. It's my love for my daughter, for my child, and I would hope everyone would do the same.
I was drawn to your story because I was online, and I don't know if we were connected at all on social media, or I don't believe we were at the time, but I came across your story of, and I was a former detective, undercover detective doing narcotics, cultivating confidential informants. I know that so well. And to read that was something that your daughter was involved in at some point during her life, it's closer towards when she passed away. It really resonated with me because I remember cultivating a lot of informants that you could look at their face and see that they were in crisis. They were addicted. They were trying to do this to get out of trouble. They didn't want to do it. There's a lot of coercion looking back and a lot of manipulation that goes into cultivating informants. It's all out of a place of wanting to serve and do a good job. But hearing your story and really reflecting, I really want people to understand, especially cops, if you're out there in cultivating informants, really think about the people behind the informant, the heart and the person, and they have to go home and do something. And what are your thoughts about that? Again, without kind of going down the road of the whole legal issue, and we can do that another day because that would be a great conversation. But, what is your thoughts on people working with law enforcement, doing confidential buys and things like that?
I think that there is a need for that, but at the same time, I think it needs to be more personable and to understand that there are people that have mental health issues that they are not trained to do that job. They have no skills, they can't cope with the outcome of it, and possibly get killed doing their job. So I don't know anyone who would be okay with their family member going in and doing a job, say it be law enforcement, and they didn't have any training, but they're sent in and they die doing it. Who would be happy with that? I think there needs to be rules and regulations, and that's one of the things that I am pushing for is Noelle's Law. It's very important, I think.
Yeah, and real quick, just what is that law? What state would that be in, and what is the summary of that bill?
Noelle's Law will be here in Missouri. Missouri session just started yesterday, so we're going to re-push. This will be the third year that we've pushed for Noelle's Law. Would be that there are rules that go along with the use of confidential informants, and it's mirrored after Rachel's Law in Florida. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you can look it up, and it's very much the same lawyer who put that law together and the bill together, and it became law, actually handed me the same, I guess, format, and it's almost identical. There are other states who have also done that in the same situation. And Noelle and myself, we're not alone. There are many, many people across the United States who are in this same seat. Normal, average people who all of a sudden become put in this seat right here where I am.
I think about this case. I still think about it, and it beats me up a little bit. Again, I looking back, I don't think I could have done things differently, but I wasn't thinking that way at that time. So I understand how these things happen. But I had an informant. She was a young lady, 22, 23, young, drug addicted, very pleasant and sweet, but you could see she was in crisis. And we're using her as an informant to work off some charges. And the standard process when an informant comes, you search them to make sure they don't have they're not coming to the deal with money and drugs already on them. And she had one Oxycontin, one pill on her. And I charged her with another count of possession. She was crying and upset. And I never thought I thought I was doing my job. I told you, I gave you warnings not to come here. I'm not threatening you or yelling at you. That's not my style, but I gave you a clear direction and you chose to violate that. It's a very black and white. But that's not a black and white situation. We make it black and white in law enforcement, but it's so gray. That one pill did not benefit the community. That arrest did not benefit the dealer, did not benefit her or her parent. I mean, it really didn't do anything to help anybody. It actually hurt her more. And I should have thought about that, my late 20s or early 30s, whatever I was. I should have thought about that. I didn't. And I hope people watch this and hear your story and Google Noelle, because I'm going to think about that. We have to really think about the person behind this and what is the end goal? What are we trying to accomplish? And if that person's going to be victimized or hurt during this process, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. There's no outcome that's worth it.
Absolutely. Noelle's first experience in it was at the age of 12 or 13. And she got caught with weed and was told, hey, if you do this for us, we won't tell your mom. And my message is, tell your mom. Tell your mom. Trust in your family. Don't do that. There is nothing that you could do for them that they're really going to appreciate and value you as a human in full. And pretty much when they're done with you, you are disposable and not valued. I mean, that's the sad part.
Need to really tweak those policies and some of the tweaks or requests to make law enforcement a better profession is from a place of love. So I hope people understand that as well. Where you and me are meeting and collecting and sharing information and storytelling, but it's all in the interest of helping people, making things better. And while we need law enforcement and we need this profession to keep us safe and law and order, it can't be the wild, wild west. We have to keep working on making things as best as we can be to keep people safe and protected.
I do appreciate law enforcement. I feel horrible knowing that at some point I told my daughter, Noelle, you need to trust. And she really didn't. She shouldn't have. She should have actually been able to come home and tell me, trust me. And I just feel there needs to be better training, there needs to be oversight, there needs to be transparency and rules. I mean, I think that confidential informant-wise, they're left to just kind of do their thing. And they don't really have to report it in Missouri. I don't know about every state, but I would like to see there be a law in place where they do actually have to be held accountable, be transparent, and do the right thing to these people. They're humans. They have dignity. Yes, I too am guilty of seeing a drug addict on the street and thinking, oh, God, looking away, not feeling like they're human. Well, guess what? When it's your child, they're human. When they're taken away and not given the chance for survival and recovery, they have a full life ahead. Noelle is a mother. I am now her daughter's mother. Those people have a chance. If that's taken away through this process, that's wrong. It's very wrong.
Bridget, thank you so much for sharing your voice and sharing Noelle's story. And I hope people watch this and really think about your situation, put themselves in your shoes and what that would be like to not have a child anymore and to keep fighting and advocating for them. I mean, that can't be easy. I know it's not. I can't relate to you in that regard. And you have my undying respect and just keep up the fight. And people here are cheering you on and wanting you to do well in your pursuit, because it's all rooted in your love for your daughter. Who can argue that?
Right. Absolutely. It's. I would hope everybody has the same love.
Have a great day, and we'll keep supporting you and keep us updated with the progress of the bill.
Thank you so much. You have a great day, too.